Right now on Hoosier News Source, mysterious clowns hit the streets of Bloomington, leaving students panicked and worried about their safety.
And find out all the details on the relocation of the famous Bloomington Bagel Company.
All of this and more coming up. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Lawson Gutzwiller.
And I'm Laura Puglisi. Last night, multiple places around campus were put on lockdown due to rumors and sightings of clowns on campus. Students on Jordan Avenue and McNutt Residence Hall allegedly saw scary clowns standing on the street and walking around their houses. The clown sightings are popping up all over the nation, including states in the Midwest, the East Coast, and the South. The police have not commented on the incident at this time, but there's no evidence that the clowns are causing any harm in Bloomington. The presidential election is quickly approaching, and it's safe to say this election is like no other. Republican candidate Donald Trump entered the election gaining interest as a non-politician, but is criticized for his uncensored rhetoric and policies on immigration. And then there's Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton, who previously worked in the White House as Secretary of State under Obama. The polls continue to show constant shift as the days lead up to the election, so I went out and talked to students here at IU to find out who they are voting for. The presidential election is about 2 months away, and the national polling average shows Clinton to be slightly ahead of Trump. The New York Times even predicts that Clinton has a 71% chance of winning the presidency. I'm here at the sample gates, and I want to find out which candidate the students at IU are voting for. Who are you voting for, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
I'm actually voting for neither one of them. I'm voting for Gary Johnson.
I'll be voting for Hillary Clinton in this election.
I'll be voting for Trump.
I think Hillary is the less extreme of the two.
Yeah, he's not either one of the other two.
I think what his campaign stands for is really strong, and I really believe that he can make America great again.
So the reason why I'm voting for Hillary is just for the simple fact that I don't want Donald Trump to win.
She's been involved in countless scandals, and so I don't really trust her.
Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
So I'm going to be voting for Hillary Clinton.
I do know that Trump is trying to become more strict on gun control policies, which I do favor that.
On any policy initiative that she's had, she's come out really strong and she's given really good supporting examples for what she wants.
You know, getting more of a background check on somebody to buy a gun.
He put a bad name against where I'm from, my people and stuff like that. So that kind of really hurt me.
And is there a specific reason you're not voting for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
I think they've been ridiculous.
I think what's really important for us now is that as a country going into this election, we need a little bit more social cohesion and rallying and getting support behind everyone.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Laura Puglisi. We'll be following the election closely as the November 8th election date approaches fast.
After the first presidential debate, Hillary Clinton slides into the lead over Donald Trump. In a recent CNN ORC survey, Clinton leads Trump by 5 points. The same survey found that Clinton has gained more independent supporters after the debate. The next presidential debate is Sunday, October 9th. In other news, a famous bagel restaurant here in Bloomington is no longer at its original location. Here joining us now is Hoosier News Source's Sydney Miller, who has more details on the relocation. Sydney?
Thanks, Lawson. Bloomington Bagel Company just recently celebrated their 20th anniversary of service to the Bloomington community. And now, the Dunn Street location has moved around the corner to Kirkwood for the remainder of the year. Take a look.
The BBC has been in the same building on Dunn Street, diagonal from People's Park, since they opened in 1996. But just before the school year started, they moved in next to Nick's because the prior building was simply falling apart and way outgrown.
We literally ran out of space for people, for product, for catering. We should have probably started moving a year or two ago out of that space. We completely outgrew it.
The BBC will be serving up the same bagels with the same dedication from Panda Express's prior building on Kirkwood for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, the old building will be demolished and then rebuilt. The new building will be complete with micro studio apartments above it, which will be available to rent for next school year.
And if we decide, hey, this space really fits us, and we get a great response being right here on Kirkwood, kind of on the main drag, maybe we'll decide to stay here and find another application for the storefront there.
The BBC just recently opened another location right behind me where City Bakery used to be, next to Bears.
And Don also told me that the Kirkwood location will hopefully soon be open later on the weekends for late night bagel cravings. For IUS TV, this is Sydney Miller.
The new 3rd Street location is Bloomington Bagel's 4th location, including others on Kirkwood, Morton, and by College Mall. And we will be sure to keep you updated on the availability to rent those micro studio apartments above the renovated BBC as the project unfolds. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sydney. Last week, Franklin Hall held a rededication ceremony to celebrate the opening of the home of the new media school. Franklin Hall, built in 1907, is now renovated and opened its doors to students at the beginning of this year. The new media school combines the former School of Journalism, the former Department of Communication and Culture, and the former Department of Telecommunications. The event began with a speech from IU President Michael McRobbie, followed by several speakers like former IU student and famous sportscaster Joseph Buck. IU presented Buck with an honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, and later gave President Michael McRobbie a symbolic key to Franklin Hall.
I walked into that studio and I was blown away. I can tell you, I've worked in the supposed best places in New York and the best studios in LA, and you go down to Nashville and that is, I can tell you, as nice or nicer than anyone I have ever been in.
The ceremony was followed by a tour of the building and an ice cream social held in Dunn Meadow.
The upcoming election is not only about the presidential nominees, it's about our local government too. Hoosier News Source's Brooke Patel caught up with a few local candidates.
Tuesday night, a debate was held for the candidates running for Indiana State Representative for the 61st District. The debate was unique because it was a third-party candidate debating with a Democrat.
I think Indiana is a great state, but I believe it could be a greater state. Tonight, I call on us to break the broken two-party system and to vote for independent and move forward in a new direction. That is why I am running for this office. That is why I need your vote.
Pierce, the Democratic candidate running, spoke about his past term.
I'm running for the office of state representative because I think that I best reflect the values of our community, and I want to be a strong voice for the values of our community in Indianapolis.
For candidate Ash, a 22-year-old student, it's his first time running.
It gives me a unique advantage as a student being able to reach out to fellow students. I think that's more than offset by the disadvantage of being younger and having less of a name recognition.
Ann Bohm, running for Monroe County Auditor, voiced her opinion.
Both candidates handled themselves very well. I was impressed by Drew for as young as he is to be as knowledgeable as he was about the issues and the way he answered the questions.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Brooke Patel.
For more information on local candidates, visit vote411.org to see who's on your ballot.
IU students took the streets last Wednesday in the name of the climate change. Reinvest IU is a student group advocating for climate justice. A group of roughly 100 students and Bloomington residents came out to show their support. Their main goal, to send a message to the IU Foundation to divest from fossil fuel companies and reinvest in more green initiatives.
This event is to gain student awareness of sustainability in general, and more specifically social and environmental injustice around the world. And then even more specifically relating to IU would be the divestment of fossil fuels.
In the heart of campus, the protesters were asked to pull out their cell phones and personally call President McRobbie, demanding that IU change their ways. They concluded their march at Showalter Fountain with a series of speakers talking about the importance of this issue. For more information on how you can get involved in this global mission, visit 350.org. 19-year-old IU football player Keontae Enos was arrested and charged with 2 counts of child molesting as a level 3 felony last week. Randolph County Sheriff's Department said they received a report of a possible relationship between Enos and a child 13 years of age or younger. Upon questioning, the child and Enos admitted to a consensual sexual encounter on at least 2 occasions. Enos is now being held in Randolph County Jail under a $20,000 bond. IU has since released a statement that says IU football has dismissed freshman Keontae Enos from the program, effective immediately. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, how an IU organization is getting creative and helping students register to vote.
And why you can feel safer walking through Dunn's Meadow.
All of that and more coming up. Stay with us.
It's an honor to be here.
After suffering a season-ending injury in late March,
as you can see behind me.
There's still time to register for the upcoming presidential debate. The Rock the Vote organization came to campus to give students an opportunity to register. Hoosier News Source's Amelia Reynolds has the details.
On Tuesday the 27th, students swarmed the Woodburn Clock Tower. The Rock the Vote event was held to help students register to vote and saw a great turnout. The event was put on by Sydney Ellison and all 4 Greek councils. Students like Emerald Williams were excited by the event's impact.
Our country is in our hands, and as students, I think when it comes to politics, I think we have our voice carries a lot of the weight.
Kilroy's on Kirkwood offered free admission, and Domino's offered free pizza, which attracted a diverse crowd of students. Even students from out of state were able to register. Senior Ethan Kimmel is from California, but his voice was still heard because he was able to register in Indiana.
Students typically don't do a great job of, really supporting elections. I think a lot of people feel like their vote doesn't matter, but if everybody felt that way, then we wouldn't really have a process at all. So everybody's just got to do their part, and I think just students in general, we're so passionate about things. If you channel that into the right ways, anything's possible.
This will be Ethan's first time voting in a presidential election, and he wants to take advantage of this opportunity.
It's a really important election, coming off of an interesting 8 years, we've had at this previous presidency, and I think you really can't have an opinion politically unless you vote. You got to get out there and get involved.
For Hoosier News Source, this is Amelia Reynolds.
If you missed the event, you can still register by visiting their website, rockthevote.com. The Kelley School of Business partnered with Whirlpool and Habitat for Humanity to build a house for 2 grandparents in need. In 10 days, volunteers built a house for Jeff and Carla Wyatt. The grandparents recently gained custody of 2 of their grandchildren, and Habitat for Humanity wanted to honor them with a house. More than 400 students worked alongside faculty, staff, and alumni to build the house. The Wyatts received the keys to their house on Saturday before the IU football game.
Some would say walking through IU's Dunn Woods at night is an unsettling experience. But now students can feel safer knowing that the woods are brighter than ever.
As the sun sets on IU's Bloomington campus, students can see the lights in Dunn Woods come on, just beyond the arc of Sample Gates. The recent addition of 34 LED lighting fixtures to Dunn Woods is all about amping up security.
I have a lot of late night reviews and other things when I'm coming back at night, and to have more lights around definitely makes me feel better because I'm always afraid that someone's behind me or around me. It scares me.
An increase in crime is causing students to be even more jumpy, especially with a rape and burglary incident just off campus last month and a robbery in Dunn Woods last week.
Lighting on campus is no new issue. In fact, beloved IU President Herman B. Wells was known to walk around campus at night with a book, and wherever he couldn't read, he would put a light. That was over 50 years ago.
A lot of research went into the lighting placement, types, and efficiency, and brighter lights aren't always necessarily the answer.
Having a light that just glares at you is not necessarily very safe. We didn't want it to look like an airport runway, but we absolutely needed it to be safe enough for people to be able to see and be seen.
As part of IU's ongoing efforts to improve campus safety, the new LED lights will operate from dusk till dawn and replace the 7 old lights that were there before. The LED white lights are closer to daylight and allow better facial recognition at night, as opposed to the previous yellow lights. The new fixtures also throw light much farther and more effectively than the previous ones. IU hopes that by more than quadrupling the number of lights in the woods, as well as improving light efficiency, that students will feel safer enjoying the natural beauty of campus.
IU is continuing to improve campus safety going forward and plans to update all lighting in campus to LED fixtures in the upcoming years. With more lights on campus and precautionary measures of never walking alone and always locking doors, students can ensure greater safety. Hundreds gathered at Indiana Memorial Union to hear abduction survivor Elizabeth Smart share her story. Smart hosted the annual Wilson Delta Gamma Lectureship in the Values and Ethics, inviting nationally recognized speakers who are known for having good character. When Smart was 14, she was abducted from her home in Salt Lake City. She was rescued 9 months later. While she was missing, her abductors repeatedly abused and raped her. Smart gave a little advice on hurdling daily issues.
Not what happens to you that defines you, you define you. So if you don't want whatever it is that you're dealing with to define you, you need to decide that.
Smart wrote a book about her experiences and is currently working on a second book. Smart's main goal is to spread awareness of human trafficking, sexual violence, and victim blaming. Well, that's all we have for you this week. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com.
And like us on social media. Follow us on Facebook at IUSTV News and like us on Twitter at HoosierNW Source.
From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching and we'll see you next week.